I'll keep my remarks extremely short. I'm Tim Kraus, and I worked in various capacities with CASE, CARE, with the Miami Valley Power Project, and following you around, Tom, and trying to distribute all the press releases that you were distributing. But I think the biggest takeaway from all of this was that it was ordinary people who stood up to a corporate giant and did it with integrity. And I remember going to Dave Jones' house with you. He had a little tiny house next to a railroad track in Elmwood Place. We drove up to that house, very simple man, but somebody who was dedicated to the truth. He could not carry on his job with integrity without doing what he did. And that's the kind of people that we ran into all the time. I ran into a former Navy submarine officer who was part of the nuclear Navy, and he was an electrician. And he said, I can't do this job anymore. I am pro-nuclear power and pro-nuclear energy, and I'm part of Rick Hoover's nuclear Navy, but I can't do this job anymore because of the way they're building this plant. And it was that kind of courage that I think made the difference here. And it was a true people's movement. One other act of courage I want to point out was you, Dave Altman, because you took a lot of grief. And I remember in particular being at a forum in Christchurch Cathedral, and a CG&E operative stood up and accused Phil and me as being communists, and saying that we were out to destroy the fabric of American society and destroy Cincinnati. And one of the most eloquent anti-McCarthy speeches that I had ever heard in person came out of your mouth. You stood there in the face of this anti-communist hysteria that he was trying to whip up, and decimated him and put him in his place and saying, this is precisely the kind of stuff that is tearing apart our community. Your baseless claims. Phil and Tim both have families that they're concerned about and their safety, and you went on and addressed every issue. But that was in your position with the Environmental Advisory Committee or Council, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position, and you were willing to do that. And I saw this time and again with people who acted out of principle and did courageous things. And sometimes they were small things, and sometimes they were big things. But it was that accumulation of effort and that accumulation of commitment that really made the difference here. And there's all kinds of stories that we can share, and the deep relationship that we've experienced because of all those late nights, you writing a brief all night long, never getting any sleep, using our electric typewriter to put out the press release, and then going into the hearing after being awake for 48 hours. That was phenomenal work. And there were lots of people that did that kind of work. So anyway, I'm going to stop at that.
Thank you.